Chapter 6 in the ICBC Learn to Ride Smart Guide. This is quite a long chapter. It will have several videos. In this chapter, sidebar, C, observation and hazard perception. Think, assess the risk, choose a solution. Do, speed control, steering, space margins, communication. And finally, using see, think, do. In previous chapters, you began developing your smart riding skills by learning the basics of riding, being a thinking rider, maintaining a safe motorcycle, wearing the right gear, understanding signs, signals, and markings, knowing the rules of the road. This chapter will bring together all these concepts and describe how to use them as part of a see, think, do, a riding and driving strategy that helps you to be safe and competent rider. C, scans for hazards. Pay attention to other road users and see the areas where hazards could occur. Think. Decide which hazards are the most dangerous. Think quickly about possible solutions. Decide on the safest solution. Do. React appropriately to keep yourself and others safe. See, think, do. When you ride, your eyes should be scanning the area around you to gather information. Good observation means knowing how and where to look. The next step is hazard perception, knowing what to look for. Observation. Good observation involves looking ahead, beside, and behind. Thinking like a rider. You're riding along a city street, keeping your eyes moving all the time. You check your mirrors. The car behind you is keeping its distance. There's an intersection ahead, and the light is green. You scan the intersection. It looks clear, but the oncoming driver has left turn signal on. Will he see you coming through, or will he cut in front of you? You check your mirrors. Is there enough space behind you if you have to slow down quickly? Strategies. The observation cycle. Always keep your eyes moving while you are riding. Look at least 12 seconds ahead. Scan from one side of the road to the other, checking for potential hazards. Glance in your mirrors to keep track of what's happening behind you. Then start all over again. You should complete the whole cycle every 5 to 8 seconds. Observing ahead. Make sure you know what's coming up on the road by scanning at least 12 seconds ahead. This means looking 1 to 2 blocks ahead in city riding and half a kilometer ahead on the highway. This will give you time to prepare for a potential hazard instead of being taken by surprise. As you look ahead, scan to the left and right to see what is happening along the lanes of the road, along the sides of the road. If you see parked cars, be careful. A child may walk out from between them, or a door might swing open in front of you. Sidebar, crash fact. 65% of crashes involving motorcycles are multi-vehicle. In 80% of those crashes, the other driver is at fault. In the other 35% of motorcycle crashes, no other vehicles are involved. This is from ICBC. Sidebar, it is easiest to see things that are in your central vision, directly in front of you, but it is important to pay attention to things outside your central vision. Peripheral vision allows you to see more than what is directly in front of you. Here we have peripheral vision on both sides and central vision in the cone ahead of the motorcycle rider. Observing behind. Smart riding tip sidebar. Try sitting on your bike and finding the areas you can't see even when you use your mirrors. Mirrors. Your mirrors let you know what is happening behind you. Adjust them for maximum vision, trying to ensure that your elbows and shoulders aren't blocking your rear view. Look in your mirrors every few seconds to check what's behind you. Before you slow down or stop, make sure traffic behind will have room to stop for you. Whenever you plan to change road position or direction, to make sure that no other road user has moved up beside you. Blind spots. Even when your mirrors are properly adjusted, there are large areas behind you and beside you that you can't see in your mirrors. These are called blind spots. If you see a vehicle behind you in your mirrors, keep track of it. If it moves up and disappears from your view, you will know that it is probably traveling in one of your blind spots. So here we have the blue car and the yellow car in blind spots that are not visible in the mirror areas. There's also directly behind a blind spot. Sidebar, there are blind spots beside and behind your motorcycle. Some of the motorcycles have a third blind spot directly behind that is large enough to hide a car. Shoulder checks. Whenever you plan to change your direction or road position, do a shoulder check to make sure the blind spot on that side is clear. For example, when you are about to turn right, quickly check over your right shoulder to make sure no one is in that space. It's easy to miss seeing a cyclist who has come up behind you. Sidebar, to shoulder check, look at least 45 degrees behind your shoulder in the direction you plan to move. Often, you will need to shoulder check more than once to make sure that the space you plan to move into is still clear. Strategies. Making your move. Use a mirror and shoulder check whenever you plan to pull out from the side of the road, pull over to the side of the road, change lanes, change lane position, or lastly, turn. Observing at intersections. Sidebar crash fact, 60% of crashes in BC happen at intersections. Observing at intersections. Look well ahead as you approach an intersection. Check for signs, signals, and other clues about whether you will need to stop. Sidebar. Look well ahead as you approach an intersection. What could happen in this scene? Approaching. Scan the road you are crossing. Look left, center, and right, and glance to the left again. If an oncoming vehicle is turning left, take extra care because the driver may not see you. Also, check crosswalks before you drive through them. Make sure they are clear. Stopping and starting up again. As you slow down to stop, check your mirrors for traffic behind you. Then make sure you have a clear view of the intersection. If your view is blocked after you have stopped, you may need to edge forward in the intersection to see clearly before you ride through. Turning. Shoulder check to make sure a cyclist or other road user hasn't come up beside you. Scan the intersection before you begin to move forward. Make sure that your eyes are looking in the direction you want to go once before you begin to turn. And that is the end of Chapter 6, Part 1.